I spent my boyfriend's birthday cooking and cleaning, but it's still not enough for him.
He wants you to be Cinderella.
My boyfriend, 33 male, and I, 25 female, have been together for 8 months. I'm putting myself through school and am working towards getting my 3rd degree. Because of this, I'm super broke and penny pinch in every way I can. My boyfriend is settled in his career with disposable income, so we have different habits when it comes to spending money. Our finances are completely separate, and by the way, this comes from International East 63. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, his birthday was last week, but I didn't get him a physical gift because all of the things he really wants or needs are wildly out of my budget. Instead, I woke up super early in the morning to make him a big special breakfast, French toast, eggs, bacon, and coffee, and brought it to him in bed. He's the type to work even on his birthday, so I also made him a special packed lunch, grilled chicken sandwich with pesto, mozzarella, cheese, veggies, the works, and rice on the side. While he was at work, I cleaned his whole house. I swept, dusted, mopped, picked up, and organized. Then I made his favorite dinner, penne vodka, and organized a movie night of his all-time favorites. When he got home, I gave him a handwritten happy birthday card before we ate dinner and watched the movies. I also planned a surprise party that weekend with his friends and family, which I also cleaned up everything after, and I thought he had a great time. But he admitted to me yesterday that he was upset and felt unimportant because I didn't get him an actual present. What was all that before?
That was kind of the present, dude.
I reminded him about my financial situation. He said it wasn't about the cost of the gift, but the gesture behind giving something, and it could have been something small. I asked him if everything else I did wasn't enough of a gesture, and he said that wasn't the point. Now we're both just upset at each other. So am I the a-hole for not getting my boyfriend a physical birthday present?
I don't think you're the a-hole, but if gift giving or receiving is someone's big love language, that's a good thing to work out early on.
Yes.
And even if you don't have the budget, you can get him something tiny.
Yeah. And I mean, clearly that's what he prefers.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe instead of, if you could afford it, maybe instead of doing all of the cooking and getting all the groceries for that, or like just limiting the amount that you did that day, you could make something for him, or I don't know, sometimes you can like thrift cool clothes or something.
Now, I don't think that you're the a-hole for this time because you didn't know.
You didn't, yeah.
And he
It's
should
only 8 months, so this is probably first birthday that you're together.
Exactly. And he should stop being rude about it to you because you obviously weren't on the same page of what everyone wanted.
Yeah.
But next birthday, if there's a next birthday together, just get him something tiny and don't worry about the gift.
Yeah, just be like very clear about what you like to get on your birthdays. Edit, I see a lot of people talking about love languages and communication. I agree. Those are super important. My love language is actually physical touch, not acts of service like a lot of people are guessing. I know his love language is gifts, so I thought a handmade card would be enough along with everything else. I'm just confused and upset because I tried to go above and beyond due to the fact that my budget constraints meant I couldn't buy him a gift that wasn't from the dollar store. I liked the comments about craft gifts. I think those are good alternatives, and I'll talk to my boyfriend about that to see what he thinks. I hope this is just a communication issue.
Yeah, if he's not chill with the craft gifts or like the tiny like homemade stuff, red flag. Those are the best
red
type.
Yeah. A lot of people are also asking about using the money I spent on food for a gift instead. The money I spent on food was part of my grocery budget. It's money I would have spent anyway. I just factored in his favorite things, plus I use a small bit from his fridge. My budget was and continues to be very tight. And we've got a verdict and an update 7 months later. What do you think, though?
You're not the a-hole. That's so obvious. And I hope that it's just a big misunderstanding.
Me too.
He's kind of being an a-hole right now, though. But
yeah, I think he could have talked about it a little bit nicer while also recognizing that you still did a lot for him.
Yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't feel like he's valuing what you're offering so far.
Okay, take a guess. In this update, are they together still?
Based off of prior Reddit stories, no.
I also think it's a no.
Yeah, it's tough. As Shawnee OP says, 7 months equals breakup 90% of the time. Yeah, they're at 8 months. I don't know if that's long enough.
I'm going to guess her birthday came around and that was the catalyst.
Yeah, because we do have 7 month later update. So my birthday was last week. How did you know?
Oh my God.
When we first got together, we had only been dating for a couple months and were not very serious, so we just had dinner to celebrate. This year, though, when he asked me what I wanted for my birthday, I told him I wanted an experience. I'm not that into gifts, especially if they're not something useful. If I'm going to spend money on something, I want to get a lot of use out of it to justify the expense. I like memories and new experiences more anyway. I basically told him to pretend like it was our first date and he was trying to impress me. When he asked me what I meant, I gave him some suggestions. A cool coffee shop or ice cream place that was far enough away to require a mini road trip with curated playlists. Trivia night at a weird themed bar with cool drinks. A museum crawl with funky exhibits. I basically gave him a map. He said okay, and I started to get excited about what he might plan. Well, when my birthday came around, he didn't tell me about any plans. It was during the week, and I wasn't expecting him to take the day off work, but I thought maybe he had a day set aside during that weekend or next. I was wrong. I went to his place after he got home from work, and he kissed me, gave me flowers and a box, and said, "Happy birthday." The box had a necklace in it. Very pretty, but very not my thing, unfortunately. Plus, it was silver. I don't wear silver jewelry. I wear gold. Ooh, do we think that he's trying to get back at her, or he actually doesn't know that she likes gold?
I think he probably just doesn't know. I heard a thing about guys paying attention in the wrong way. They'll notice that you're wearing a bunch of gold jewelry and they'll go, "Oh my God, she doesn't have any silver jewelry. I should get her some."
She really wants silver jewelry.
She clearly doesn't have any.
Yeah. I guess he noticed my disappointment because he asked what was wrong. I told him the necklace and flowers were beautiful, but not what I was expecting. He replied that the necklace was expensive and he put a lot of thought into choosing it. I asked him why he would explicitly ask me what I wanted for my birthday if he wasn't going to listen. Then he said, "Sucks to be blindsided and disappointed on your birthday."
Oh my God. It was vengeful.
7 months later?
Dang. I was hoping maybe they just weren't compatible on a love language level and it wasn't going to work. Not that he's just sucks.
Like 7 months later? You were holding a grudge for 7 months?
Dang.
Dude, break up.
Break up.
Dang. That hurt a lot. We're in very different financial situations. I'm a student with an unpaid internship. He's settled in his career with disposable income. And when I asked what he wanted for his birthday, he said he would love whatever I ended up getting him, even if it was tiny. So I had nothing to go on. It feels like he asked me what I wanted so he could do something completely different and make me feel bad because I accidentally made him feel bad on his birthday. Does that make sense? Am I being hypocritical because of how he felt on his birthday? Am I overreacting about my birthday? And we've got a second update, but what do you think?
No, he admitted it was vengeful.
Yeah. Yeah, he sucks, man.
Break up.
I promise not to do that for your birthday.
To be vengeful?
I promise I won't be vengeful on your birthday.
That would imply that you have something to be vengeful about.
I promise I'm not plotting right now. I can't believe that they were together for literally 15 months, over a year, and this is how he treats your birthday. So weird.
He was vengeful for half of it.
Yeah. Update 2. 2 days later. First, thank you so much to everyone who opened my eyes to the awfulness of his actions. There were a lot of little things I overlooked in our relationship that were super not okay in retrospect, and I really needed someone to give me perspective, so thank you. Second, some of the comments out here had me feeling like a snob for turning my nose up at something so expensive. Sure, it wasn't my style, but he tried, and he spent money on me with the intention of giving me a luxury item I couldn't get myself, right? Wrong. By the way, it's never wrong to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
break up with your boyfriend.
Yeah, he doesn't like you.
He does not.
No, he's just a plotter. Sometimes you date a plotter and you don't even know it.
And then you find out on your birthday.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got a little bit left. I brought it back to the store this morning. I had the gift receipt with the intention to return the money to my now ex-boyfriend. Makes sense. Even if we were still together, I would feel uncomfortable with someone spending so much money on me. After all, I was told it was real silver. Turns out it was silver plated. Cost about $18. I know this term is overused online, but that was the textbook definition of gaslighting. After our argument, we decided to take some time apart, and it didn't feel right to keep such an expensive gift, especially if we weren't together. It went from taking time apart to broken up the moment the clerk told me it was fake silver. I ended up keeping the necklace just so I could drop it off to him in an envelope with the $18 in cash. I put a bit of a stitch in my grocery budget for the week, but fully worth it. And that is the end of that story.
I told my girlfriend about my prenup requirements. I didn't expect her reaction.
Rule number 1 is that you gotta have fun.
I'm in my late 20s dating a woman in her late 20s. We've been together about 6 months, and I want to start to talk about long-term plans, potentially moving in together, marriage, and kids someday. By the way, this comes from Can't Dress Myself. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. And OPs. About 7 years ago, my parents passed away. And since I was an only child, I inherited their house. It's fully paid off. I rent out the upstairs currently and live in the basement after I renovated it to be its own separate unit. Nice. Because of their life insurance and other assets, I'm financially secure and technically don't need to work. I have a job, but it's not like I make 6 figures or anything. The house is my childhood home and has emotional value to me. I've already decided I will never add anyone to the deed, even if I get married. If I have kids, I would structure things so that the house gets passed directly to them, I guess through a trust. Same thing with the inheritance money. I'm fine using income or growth from it to build a life together, but the core inherited assets themselves would always remain legally separate. If I ever get married, a prenup would be mandatory for me. It wouldn't just cover the house, but also clearly define that my inheritance remains separate property. This isn't about assuming divorce or not loving someone fully. It's about protecting what my parents left me and making sure it ultimately benefits my children. I have a friend that ended up not getting anything from their mother when she passed because she left everything to her second husband, and I refuse to even let that be an option if I have children. I haven't brought this up yet because we haven't been dating that long, but I don't want to waste her time as we get more serious if this is unacceptable to her. I definitely don't want to profit off her if we move in together. If we moved into my place, she would never have to pay anything to maintenance or property tax, only utilities and groceries. And if that seemed weird for her, I'd be happy to move into a separate place together and split costs. I don't want to have this be viewed as me being controlling or worried it'll sound like I'm planning for failure before we're even engaged. How would you approach this conversation? And if you were in her position, would you want to know this sooner rather than later? I do not need advice on how to structure a prenup. She will have her own lawyer should she agree to a prenup. I will pay for this with a smile on my face. I'm not forcing her to forever live in this home. We can live anywhere, she just won't have an equity in this one home. I'm not counting down the days until I can make her become a homeless widow. Things would be structured so she wouldn't have to leave my home when I pass. She would be very well taken care of once we actually come to an agreement on prenup terms. I am a huge believer in life insurance. I have my own retirement accounts she will get access to, and we have an update 1 month later.
Okay, well, I mean, definitely sooner rather than later. You're, gonna get married.
Yeah, they are only dating 6 months. But they're trying to start those discussions.
I think once we start having the discussions, then I think you could maybe bring up, hey, when we get to that point, this is something I've always considered having.
I feel like it almost makes it easier because you're so early in the relationship.
Yes.
That you can be like, this has always been a non-negotiable for me. It's not because it's you. It would be like this for anybody.
Yeah. I feel like that would be helpful to hear.
Yeah. So maybe do it now.
Maybe we just get it over with.
But we have an update 1 month later. She brought up moving in together first a couple of weeks after the original post. We were talking about her lease being up in a few months, and she asked whether I'd thought about us living together. That naturally opened the door to a bigger long-term conversation. I told her I'd been thinking about it too, and that before we made any major decisions, I wanted to be transparent about something important regarding my house and inheritance. I framed it not as planning for divorce, but as ensuring long-term success for future kids. I explained clearly, the house will always remain solely in my name. The inherited principal will remain separate property. If I ever get married, a prenup would be mandatory. I would ensure my partner is protected, life insurance, retirement accounts, etc., but the core inherited assets would stay legally separate. Then I waited for the dramatic fallout many commenters seemed convinced was inevitable. She responded, "That makes complete sense.
Nice. You guys are perfect for each other. Woo!
Move her in."
Yeah.
She said she would think it was irresponsible not to protect inherited assets.
Yeah. She's like, I
"It's
think anyone who doesn't do that's an idiot. And he's like,
And now we're about to find out that she's a secret millionaire.
yeah. She's like, well, now that you said that, I can bring up that I have millions of dollars that I want to protect.
And there you go.
And now we're on the same page.
She said it made sense I would want it confirmed in writing, that she was aware of these conditions beforehand to remove any confusion or contention later on. She appreciated that I had thought through it carefully and had clear values around it. When I told her she would absolutely have her own independent lawyer, paid for by me, to review any agreement, she said that's exactly how it should be handled. She was also genuinely excited when she realized how financially secure I am. Not in a weird way, just that it made her feel stable and optimistic about building a future with someone who plans ahead. She especially appreciated that while I made it clear the house itself is off limits, I was completely willing to move if shared property equity was important to her. She's never even seen the upper levels since it's currently rented out. If we ever bought a different home together, that would be joint. The inherited house is the only thing that stays separate. And yes, I showed her the original post. Her main takeaway was asking why over half of the people couldn't understand that the house was off limits, while it was clearly stated that I was willing to move to another house if property equity was important to her. She was genuinely baffled at how many responses ignored that basic detail. She also didn't understand why so many people kept explaining what a prenup was when that was completely unrelated to the post. As for my apparent villain arc, if living together goes well and we get married, somehow we will have to survive me being underemployed and only working 40 hours a week, splitting the tragic pittance of my above-median salary, rental income, and in interest/dividends, while she saves nearly $30,000 a year that she previously spent on rent. All while I cackle with glee knowing I set it up so she is out of the streets the second I pass away. I'll be sure to tell the next homeless person I meet that they're lucky they don't have to deal with real financial insecurity like she does. The only painful thing is now that she fully understands my financial situation, she truly questions why I voluntarily drive a 10-year-old Prius.
Because 10-year-old Priuses are where it's at, okay?
Did you feel attacked on that one?
Priuses are sturdy.
They get from point A to point B.
Yes. It doesn't matter how old they are.
I'm a Honda fan.
I also love Hondas. I had a Honda before, and it was very old.
This video is not sponsored, by the way.
No, it's not sponsored by either of them.
But if either of them wanted it to be...
Someone said, loss of points for the Prius.
Big Joe, sir, no one should be driving you. How dare you talk?
Nico says, me with my 10-year-old.
Yes, Nico. You're cool.
Apparently, financial security does not excuse that level of commitment to fuel efficiency. You know what you guys should commit to? Listening to more full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts. Search up OK Storytime. Boop, boop. We've got a little bit left, but what are you thinking?
I feel like you guys are perfect for each other, and there's, I don't know, anyone who says otherwise doesn't know your relationship like you do.
Sounds like it went as good as it could.
It sounds like it went perfect. We shouldn't, we don't need to worry. We're good.
She's right on board.
She's on board.
All sarcasm aside, the conversation made us closer. It forced us to talk seriously about long-term values, money philosophy, and what marriage actually means to each of us. I'm glad I didn't avoid it because of worst-case predictions from strangers online. For anyone in a similar position, have the conversation sooner rather than later. How you frame it matters far more than the fact that you want a prenup. Don't be selfish and only discuss how this will protect you. And anyone who insists you split equity with someone who contributed nothing is an idiot. And that's the end of that story.
I thought I knew the guy I was seeing. His girlfriend's Instagram told a different story.
That's not good.
I've been seeing Nate for about 2 months now, and I really like him. I met him at the gym. When we first got together, he took me out to dinner and then asked if I wanted to come back to his place. Before we hooked up, he said that he wasn't looking for anything serious and that he's seeing other people. Was I okay with that? I really liked the guy, so I said, sure. By the way, this comes from Artistic Royal 9827, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I see him every weekend or so, to the point where I definitely consider Nate my boyfriend, but we hadn't talked about taking the next step. One night I was sleeping over at his place and I saw a text on his phone that said, "Night baby, love you," and I was floored. I know his passcode from playing music off his phone, so I took a peek and it was clear.
Listen, I say that to all my friends.
Yeah, love you, baby.
I say that to Dakota every night before we go to
Night,
bed.
night, baby. You give him a little kiss.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
He usually does go, okay, good night, boy. Mwah.
Mwah. He has a long-time girlfriend. I don't know what came over me, but I was livid. I knew he was seeing other people, but not that he had a full-blown girlfriend that he says, I love you to. I immediately confronted Nate about it, and he just said that it wasn't any of my business.
I will say, I don't think you could consider him your boyfriend because you guys never had that conversation.
Yeah.
So you being like, at this point I was seeing him for 2 months and I considered him my boyfriend.
He was basically my boyfriend, even though he said he was never looking to be my boyfriend.
Yeah,
he did communicate that. Now, if he doesn't have an open relationship with this long-term girl, then I think you do have a job to do. And that's to tell her.
When I pushed him on it, he said she knows everything, that they're long distance, and eventually she'll move in with him. But until then, they're fine with casual relationships on the side. He then immediately drove me home and hasn't responded to me since. I feel like I have a right to be upset because he didn't give me the full extent of his other relationships. I'm also not sure if I trust that she knows about him seeing other girls because that seems like a line he just used. The girl's name is like burned into my head. Do I try to reach out to her? Part of me still wants to fix things with Nate if I could because I do really like him, but I have no clue how. And we have an update 3 days later.
Dang, what's her name? What's her,
so
what's her
what
name,
do we do?
like Pizza Hut?
It feels as though you are not comfortable with him seeing other people regardless.
Yeah.
So I think you should end it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a tactfully, nicely crafted thing that's like, hey, for my own comfortability, I've been seeing Nate. I just want to make sure that you 100% know that he is seeing me and maybe other people. And if that is cool, like it's over between us because I'm not comfortable with it. But like I wanted you to know. Like I wouldn't just straight up do like a, hey girlie, your man is cheating on you. Because if she does know about you, then it's weird.
Yeah, I think with the way that you phrased it, perfect.
Yeah.
We got an update 3 days later. I did it! I told the girlfriend! I ended up finding her on Instagram. When I got access to her feed, it was mind-blowing. She had so many pictures of her and Nate together, dating back to like 4 years ago. He's taken her to Iceland for her birthday. They spent New Year's in a fancy ski lodge. Honestly, seeing all that made me seethe, because other than like 2 nice dinners, Nate and I mostly stayed in. Also, I knew he was well off, but not like birthday trips to Iceland well off. Now I feel like I hardly know anything about him. So I messaged the girlfriend and told her what happened, that I'd been seeing Nate for a couple months now. She knew already. She said pretty much exactly what he said, that while they're apart, they don't mind if they're both having casual relationships with other people. I asked her if she knew why he didn't tell me about her, and she just said he's a pretty private person. He doesn't share more than he feels necessary.
So now step out of it, girl.
So leave. Stop it. Stop it. By the way, you should never stop listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story. Any final thought?
I mean,
It's a little weird that he didn't disclose it up front, but
yes,
knowing that all parties are okay with it, I think if you are still not okay with it, get out of there.
Head out of there.
Yeah.
Head out.
Because they're chilling.
Yeah. And he was, for the most part, told you. Like, I don't know what you expect, OP.
Then I asked her if there was a way to get him to respond to me, and she just said that he's sending a pretty clear message and that she hoped she gave me some closure, but it would be in everybody's best interest to please not contact either of us again. Which, okay, ouch, no need to treat me like a child. Now I'm blocked. I texted Nate to apologize and ask if we could get coffee to talk it through, but he hasn't responded. So that's the update, pretty much the strangest relationship situation I've ever been in, and now I'm at a loss. I really liked him. This sucks.
And he never wanted a relationship with you.
He told you up front.
And you were calling him your boyfriend.
If you were not comfortable with not being anything more than casual, you should have let him know that up front and said, no, thank you.
I needed to move for my career, but my boyfriend must stay.
Then I guess that's it.
I'm a senior PhD student in an engineering field at a top university, and I've been very successful at my work. My bosses have been extremely happy with my productivity and think I have a future in this field. They expect that over the next few years or so, I will climb the academic ladder, eventually becoming a PI myself. Honestly, I would love this. This has been a goal of mine for a while, and I love my job. By the way, this comes from Lirials? Fire? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice, Goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. As I am close, approximately 1 to 1.5 years away from graduating, I've also been thinking about where I would go for my postdoctoral fellowship to further my training. Because my boyfriend has a prioritized government job that he likes in the area, my initial plan was to stay in the same lab as my PhD. Recently, however, I had a chat with my bosses, and they think that going to a different lab, maybe even a different subfield, might be more beneficial for me long-term so I can diversify my skills and experiences. They did say, however, that they were willing to let me stay on as a postdoc for a year or so while I look for opportunities somewhere else. While there are many good institutions nearby with some great PIs, if I can't find good lab in the area, I might have to move somewhere else. Frankly, this thought scares me. This would mean that my boyfriend might have to leave his nice, well-paying government job for 2 to 3 years and probably take a pay cut to live somewhere else. On top of all of this, we hope to get married and start a family in a year or two. Postdocs don't make a lot of money, around $45K a year, and I'm worried that money might be tight. I'd say at very minimum, we'd be making $105K collectively. My boyfriend doesn't seem as worried about it and is confident that he can find a job elsewhere. He says he always knew that we would move at some point for my career and is happy to move for me. Plus, he says that he's at the point of his career where he can move more easily, and he doesn't want me giving up a good opportunity for him. He's had to move a lot for his career in the past and thinks we can make it work. Regardless, I can't help but feel guilty at the fact that I would be uprooting us for a job that may be great for my future career growth, but doesn't pay all that well. Money might be tight for a bit depending where we live. Part of me is also afraid I might fail to make it in academia, and will have uprooted us to move all for nothing. Are my worries warranted? If I can't find any good opportunities in the area and a great one pops up elsewhere, should I take it? We have an update a year later, but...
I
I have thoughts, but what are yours?
I mean, I guess you just kind of have to look at your relationship and think about, do we want to try long distance for a while?
Yeah.
It's like
I
an
really
opportunity.
I just feel like it's your own anxiety about
Yeah.
will you or won't you make it in your career, and if he's open and willing and has always been expecting this and wants to do it with you, then
Yeah.
I don't really see the problem.
Yeah.
KJK says, why is long distance not an option?
It
That's
might
what I'm
be.
wondering.
At least start with that. Like,
Yeah.
hey, 'cause
And
I
if
know
it
there's
doesn't
so
work
many
out,
things.
it doesn't work out, but at least
Yeah.
you tried.
We can try.
Seems like
But
you're
if
both supportive of each other.
Yeah, and if you're willing to do that, and if not, like, I feel like two of you can live on 106K because that's like
Yeah.
53 each a year. Pretty average salary.
A lot of people said
Unfortunately.
principal investigator, especially with primary.
Principal investigator.
Principal one to
Understood.
investigate.
Yeah, you hear it all the time. Like, especially if you don't take it, it's the what if, or like,
Yeah.
well, am I gonna regret this? Am I gonna regret myself not doing this, or am I gonna is my partner gonna regret this? Like, it's one of those things, but you have to do what's
Yeah.
best for you. But take the leap.
I feel like a lot of it is like, because OP specifically says, part of me is afraid that I might fail to make it in academia and I will have uprooted us for nothing. And I feel like that's where a lot of it is just like manifesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, try. He knows the risks. You know the risks. Try.
Yeah, you don't want to regret it. You don't want to like look at your partner like, oh, you made me not do this kind of thing, or vice versa. So
Yeah.
But we have an update a year later. Several months after I made this post, I made the final decision to apply to postdoc positions all across the US. I received many great offers, and I decided to move several states away to work with a well-known PI in my field whom my advisors greatly respect. After enduring a couple months of long distance and uncertainty, we learned today that my now fiance, nice, congrats, got his dream job in the city I moved to.
Yay! See, this is what happens. This is what happens when you guys do what you want to do in your life. Things work out, and everyone's happy.
Yay!
Yay!
Not only does he get to remain a government employee, but his salary is also significantly higher than what he was making before. Thank you so much for all your encouragement and replies. It gave me the push I really needed to take that dive to move cross-country for a new job. In the end, it really paid off, and we finally get to move on with the rest of our lives together.
Yay! You're getting married, and you're got your dream job, and he's got his dream job, and everyone's freaking happy.
We have an update 4 years
God,
later.
they're gonna be together, and they're gonna have a child, and everyone's gonna have their dream job.
And it's gonna be happy.
This is gonna be great.
It better be happy.
You better be freaking happy, or swear to God.
Update 2, 4 years later. I'm assuming he's applying for postdocs. Has he made it clear since the beginning that he'd be gunning for an academic job? If so, why did you have a child with him?
Child?
Oh no, wait, what is happening?
No, this-
Keon, I think we're missing
Yeah.
context here.
Give us the context,
This
please.
sounds like a comment to an update we didn't read.
no, I can't find anything. It's just
It just starts
Okay.
with the comments.
I went to the account. It's just a lot of cats.
It might have been deleted or something.
Yeah, okay, well, guys, I don't think we
Gotta
got
find
the
out.
update, but we have a comment that's going to give us some context from this update.
Ew, boy.
Update 2, 4 years later. I'm assuming he's applying for postdocs. Has he made it clear since the beginning that he'd be gunning for an academic job? If so, why did you have a child with him, knowing full well that he'd likely want to move on again for his career? On the practical side, how is his CV? Is he applying for positions in major cities, where most universities are? How likely is he to really get an assistant professor position in the future? The only reason I pursued an academic position is because my CV was viewed as impressive, and consequently, it was expected that I would remain successful in academia. After 3 years, I received a promotion for twice my salary, and now I will be applying for a tenure track position in the next year or so. By the way, you guys can listen to full episodes with stories just like this for all your years. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Aw, he's calling us so young, guys.
I didn't even do a voice, so I don't know what you're
It's
on
just
about.
your voice. It's just your
Just
voice.
my voice.
It's just your voice. It's too youthful.
He called
Unless
us,
it
he
was
called us
my
youthful.
table broken impression. but-
Dang, and he has a Silver Surfer profile picture. Huh.
My table.
He's broken.
That's just my voice. But we've got a little bit left. All of this was made possible by my husband, who made more than twice my salary and can work fully remote. We have a 2-year-old together, and I would not have pursued this path had I not had assurances that I would be successful and financial support from my husband to make sure my family is taken care of. I understand your frustration. It's hard being an academic spouse. I think it would be good to approach this pragmatically and ask questions like, what happens if you need yet another postdoc after this one? Are we just going to be financially and locationally unstable forever? And honestly, are you actually cut out to be an academic? It's a hard conversation, but it's so incredibly important, especially now that you have a child involved.
Yeah. I don't know what happened in your life. We have no idea
what happened for him.
I don't know, yeah.
I hope it's okay.
I hope all is well.
I hope like you have a child and it's happy.